Hollywood loves a good remake, but sometimes the magic of the original just can't be recaptured. Here are 3 movie remakes that should have stayed in the past, leaving the classics to shine on their own. The Wicker Man remake has become a kind of legendary disaster in the annals of Hollywood history, primarily thanks to Nicolas Cage's memorably over-the-top performance. In this rendition of the 1973 British horror film, Cage stars as Edward Malice, a policeman searching for a missing girl on an isolated matriarchal island. Now, there's a line between intense acting and being so far over the edge you're practically in free fall. And let's just say Cage didn't exactly cross it. He pole vaulted over it. The film earned a grim 15% on Rotten Tomatoes and made only $38.8 million at the box office against a $40 million budget. So, not exactly a winner.
In that bliss which knows no ending. Oh, Christ! Oh, Lord!
The audacity to remake an Alfred Hitchcock classic, and not just any classic, but Psycho, arguably one of the greatest horror films ever made, was a bold move by director Gus Van Sant. Unfortunately, bold doesn't always translate to good. Despite having Vince Vaughn and Anne Heche in the main roles, the film came off as a shot-for-shot imitation without any of the tension or mystery of the original. This lackluster effort managed a pitiful 38% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and scraped together a meager $37.2 million at the box office. Hitchcock is probably still turning in his grave.
She just goes a little mad sometimes.
In 1951, The Day the Earth Stood Still was a powerful message about the destructive path of humanity, cleverly disguised as a sci-fi film. In 2008, it was a CGI-laden spectacle starring Keanu Reeves as the stoic alien Klaatu. As much as we love Keanu Reeves, it just needs to be said that the remake lacked the nuance and subtlety that made the original such a timeless piece. It barely broke even at the box office, taking in $233.1 million against an $80 million budget.
Are you aware of an impending attack on the planet Earth?
You should let me go.
Planet of the Apes. Who in their right mind thinks they can outdo Charlton Heston? Well, apparently Tim Burton thought he was up for the task. In this 2001 remake of the 1968 classic, Mark Wahlberg takes on the lead role as an astronaut who lands on a planet ruled by intelligent apes. Wahlberg gave it his best shot, but the film couldn't replicate the shock value of the original's twist ending or its social commentary. On Rotten Tomatoes, it managed a paltry 44%, while at the box office it earned $362.2 million against a $100 million budget. Not a total disaster, but not a success either.
Next, you'll be telling us these beasts have a soul.
Is there a soul in there?
It's disgusting the way we treat humans.
How the hell did they get like this?
What other way would they be?
If they see you on the street, they kill you on sight.
You stay here, you're already dead.
What tribe are you from?
United States Air Force, I'm going back to it.
Swept away. This remake of a 1974 Italian film was directed by none other than Guy Ritchie and starred his then-wife Madonna. The original was a critically acclaimed comedy drama with strong social and political themes. The remake, unfortunately, turned into a shipwreck. Madonna's performance was widely criticized, and the film's plot about a wealthy, snobbish woman stranded on an island with a communist sailor felt outdated and out of touch in early 00s. The film was rated a dismal 5% on Rotten Tomatoes and grossed a mere $598,645 against a budget of $10 million. Ouch.
Yes, madam?
This fish is bad. It's off. bad. In that case, if you don't want to eat it, you probably want to wear it. Now it doesn't look so bad, madam.
You lazy!
Now you can bake the cake.
Creaky floors, spooky noises, and brooding mansions are staples of any haunted house movie. The Haunting, a remake of the 1963 classic, had all of these, but sadly, it missed the one crucial element: genuine horror. The film stars Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Owen Wilson as part of a group participating in a supposed sleep study in a haunted mansion. The CGI heavy effects ended up being more laughable than scary, leaving the audience more amused than terrified. This horror miss secured a disappointing 16% on Rotten Tomatoes and managed to pull in $177.3 million at the box office against a $80 million budget.
What's the deal with the Addams Family Mansion? I gotta be honest, I don't get a real strong sleep vibe from this place.
Don't you love it here? This is so twisted.
Calling it an insomnia study allows me to create a highly suggestive environment to observe the dynamics of fear.
In 1990, Arnold Schwarzenegger delivered a memorable performance in the sci-fi flick Total Recall. Come 2012, Colin Farrell stepped into the role for the remake, but despite his best efforts, the film was more forgettable than recall-worthy. The high-octane action and expensive special effects couldn't cover up the fact that the movie lacked the original's clever blend of mind-bending twists and dark humor. The film scored a below-average 30% on Rotten Tomatoes and barely recovered its $125 million budget, with a global box office collection of $198.5 million.
Are you actually happy with how your life's turned out?
Why the hell shouldn't I be?
What do you know about this recall place?
Stay away from them. Don't mess with your mind, man.
Welcome to Recall. First time?
Tell us your fantasy. We'll give you the memory.
It's a bit ironic when a movie about fog ends up being foggy itself, but such was the case with the 2005 remake of John Carpenter's The Fog. The original was a moody, atmospheric chiller about a ghostly fog that sweeps over a small town, but the remake just ended up lost in the mist. The acting was subpar, the scares were non-existent, and the whole thing felt like a cheap cash grab. This horror failure received a dismal 4% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and barely scraped together $46.2 million at the box office against an $18 million budget.
Come on, please. What is going on?
Footloose, the 1984 cult classic, had Kevin Bacon, a killer soundtrack, and some of the most iconic dance scenes in film history. The 2011 remake, on the other hand, was like a bad cover band that doesn't know when to quit. Despite Julianne Howe's best attempts, the movie fell flat, with none of the spirit or charm of the original, although it did earn $63.5 million at the box office against a $24 million budget.
I don't want you to see that boy.
Why?
Because I've heard he's trouble.
Watch that attitude, son.
We speak for this town because we are from here.
I know you gotta do what you gotta do, but that ain't gonna stop it from happening.
Alien invasion movies are dime a dozen, but few manage to achieve the status of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. In 2007, The Invasion, a remake of the 1956 classic, failed to capture the suspense, paranoia, or social commentary of the original. Despite having Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig in the lead roles, the film fell short in almost every aspect. It was rated a dismal 19% on Rotten Tomatoes and collected a disappointing $40.2 million at the box office against an $80 million budget.
You can fool them.
What?
Don't show emotion. Then they can't tell who's who.